today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a custom approval workflow in Business Central using AL language. So before I proceed to the video, and this video is going to be parted into three different sections. I'm going to be doing the first video on the table creation, while I do the second and the necessary pages, while the third one is going to be touching more of the approval process. So I would advise you follow this video through from this very first video down to the third video. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So I'm going to be starting with a new blank environment. So I'm going to be creating a new project. So I'm going to name this YouTube approval. So I'm going to be using the version 10. All right, so while this process is downloading, I would just like to explain the key takeout for this project. Creating a custom approval using the existing approval work process. So we are not trying to customize a new function. We want to also make use of the existing functions that does the approval. All right. So in order for us to start, I usually like structuring my project. So I'll start by creating a folder called page, create a folder called table, also create folders. Let's say, okay, I don't want to do something too complex, but let's say a norm. Now, so let's start by creating a simple table. I want to create a YouTube category.al. So it's just a basic table template. So I can do that by saying TT, right? So I'm going to give this an ID of 55. So you can give it any ID depending on the ID range. You can see if I check my app purchasing, I have ID range from 50, 100 to 50. So yes, let me put it back to 60,000. So I have enough space, right? All right, so I want to name this table YouTube category video, right? So I'm not going to be working with too much detail. I'm going to be giving a number say for the video. Let's say video ID. So there should be code of 20. So I wouldn't really like to use this data classification. I'll explain why later. So let's start by just populating few fields. So we need some important field like the primary key, what I can use to quickly access the history of this particular table. So the video ID is going to be one of the primary key, and I also want to give a status. I don't know the kind of video I want to make right now, but I'm having an idea of maybe we are creating a video category, a YouTube video category type of video. So we are going to have a video type, if it is education, if it is drama, if it is action, and we are going to be having a status. We are going to be having a public status, a private status, Basically, that is it. So the idea is when you want to upload a video to YouTube, at first you will be on a private kind of upload until you like explicitly say you want this video to the public. So that is the kind of idea we're trying to ride on. So I'm just going to create multiple fields. So this field will be video category. All right, so would have um, him. Okay. Mind you, I'm using 1234 as the ID because I'm working in a sandbox environment. Sandbox environment. I mean. So if I'm to go to a production environment, I need to start my numbering from 50,000, right? So let's just follow the standard, right? All right, so these are the few fields we're going to be working with. Ah, no, so we have our status, right? So our status has to be an enum. So let's go create an enum. Yeah, let's see. Although you could also make use of option, but I like to follow the best practice. Status.al. So tnum. All right. So we have 50, 51. So my enum name is called status. So the status number one, we have the private, right? Caption of private. We have public. So the approval idea is once I create a new document, I should have the video as a private video, and then once it has been approved, then it can flow to be in a public video, right? So I'm going to replace this code to enum, and then that will be status, right? So we also have for category, we should also have an enum that has the list of. So what is it called? Video category, right? Expected. Okay, let's just name it category or V category. So the very first value will be action would have fictional. We have what again? Drama. Okay, so we can now link venom to category. I think this is fine. Name. So the description should be text. Text of let's see 100. Let's just say 1,000. Then it's time for us to give it a primary key. The first key would be video ID. Second, video category. All right, so that is all we have to do on the table side, and let's move on to the page. The page. So this will be 5601, and I'm going to name it video, right? So the page type will be card application. So I'd like to remove this application area. Use it category source table. Source table is I think it's YouTube. Yeah. Uh, so let's see. So we can also include refresh active equals true, right? So can populate this as general. So I want to add all these fields. So we have the video ID, the video name, the video description, excuse me, video ID, video name, description, category, then status. Okay, so we can save this, and then we can also create another folder called a list page folder. So we can create the list here. Right? See page list. So we give it also the ID of 5602. Give this into video list. So the source table is also going to be the YouTube category, video, list, application area, or okay. So let's say edit table equals false. That again. Let's say delete allowed false, modified allowed false, because we don't want anybody to be able to delete, edit, or modify the data directly from the list. So we can also do the same thing. Click here, comment the bubble, add those multiple values we want there. ID, name, description, category, then status. And okay, so save it. And so we also need to link this list to the card. So we'll say card page ID equals YouTube video, right? So we want to, okay, so we want to say, we want to filter for this. So we'd say we want to filter in the sense that we want them to be able to view. Let's see, what do we give the status? Private. So we want this list to be able to view only private list, and then the other should be able to view public list, if that makes sense. So we would say we are viewing this table where status is equals to constant C private. Yeah. So we've given this page a responsibility to only view any private documents. So that will mean we need to create another one. So we name this one the public rename, right? So we say right 603, and this is public. What do we have missing? So I think this is all for the table and the page tutorial. In the next one, we're going to be looking at how it looks like on the front end, and then we're going to proceed on how to make the workflow. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Right, so welcome back to the continuation video on how to create a custom approval workflow. So the last video we already created a table and also the page and the list page. So the next thing to do here is let us create a number series for our page. And in case you don't know how to create a number series, I already made a video earlier on how to simply create a number series. So let us create a number series. So the first thing we do here is we need to have the global variable, which I would call, let's see, number series. Number series, let's say management. So this will be a code unit. Okay. So this is done. So the next thing we want to do is we want to be able to give a number series whenever an input is being inserted. So normally we should probably have like a setup page that we put the number series, or we can just come here and then assign a number series like directly. So the first thing we want to do is we want to check if the video ID equals empty. That is, if it is empty, then if it is empty, that is when we want to give it a number series. But instead of giving it a number series directly, if you remember very well, we have video category, and video category has different category: action, friction, drama. So based on this category, we should be able to create a number series. So yeah. So another thing I want to do here is I want to create multiple pages for here for the pages. And here I want to say um, I want to also give this a source table view because uh, yeah. So sorry, source table view. We want to view this document where its video category is equals to. So we just want to create individual pages for each category. So this is action, right? Right. So we'll have to duplicate this, copy, paste twice. So we have how many category? We have action. So this one should be, let's see, it should be action, YouTube video. All right, so I have made some amendments to the development. So you can see from the table, I now have 6 pages. I created a page for the approved pages for each video category. Since we are working with the video category, and so it's very good for us to have like a record for each category. Just like we want to check the record for action YouTube videos, we should be able to like go to a particular place to check for it. And also for the drama, we should also be able to go there. So the only difference there here now is under the source table view, I added a video category equals the particular video category. In this case, this is drama. And before, earlier we had the idea of using the status as, having a list for private documents, having a list for public documents. So there's a better way to do that in doing that, in the sense that we are assuming the private is still the initial document that has not been processed by an approval workflow. And the idea for this video is for you to understand how we can create our own workflow. So since all these are set, I would like to publish. I have not published at all. No, okay. We were still working with the number series before I forget. So yeah, so for the number series, you can see immediately on trigger and insert, going to initiate this number series. So the first thing to do is we need to check if there is no number series already. So if there are no number series already, sorry. So if there is no number series already, so we'll plan to create one. So what we do now is we say let's assume we had a setup. or should we just create it on the setup? If we are to create it on the setup, I think we have a, let me see, excuse me. All right, so I just want to check an existing setup so we can attach the number series to it. Okay, come on, we first. So I think I'm not just going to work with that since it's going to take a little bit time. So I'm just going to assume that we already have this setup and it's basically the same idea. I want to call the number series management I have created then and I want to initialize it. I want to initialize it with the particular number series. So let's say in this instance, if, oh shit. So remember we said we want to work with it based on the video category. So I want to create a case, right? Did I create it well? Yeah, case, yeah. So I want to create a case. So the case will be video category off. So I want to check if the video category, if the video category is action, I want to do this. What do I want to do? I want to say the number series management. I want to initialize series. So the very first argument it takes is the number series name. In this case, let's say we want to name action number series. So it's just going to scan through the whole number series and it's going to look for number series called action. So when it gets the number series called action, what should it do? So it's then we have to put the previous record so that it knows the next number to give this particular number series. So we do that by saying x record dot the previous, is it video ID? Yeah, that's video ID. Yeah. So it checks the previous number that has been used so it knows for sure what number series to be used in this in the new number series. So what's wrong here? We have an error here. Let's see. Okay, so right, um, we have another argument. Let's see what else it takes. Takes the default number series, the old, then new dates, and then it takes new number series. So for the dates, we use the OD, and that is we are not giving it a date. You get, if you have worked with the front end on number series, you should understand that number series you could put a give a number series within a date duration. You can say maybe from today till next week, you want this number series to exist. So since we're not using any dates, we want it empty. We use OD. So the next one is, well, which field do we want to give this number series to? So we want to give this number series to the video ID, and then we say we need the number series itself. So I'll come up here and create a field, right? So I'll name this field is 56.5. I'll name it number, sorry, number series, right? So this is code 22. So this is table related to number series. So that is all. So I'm going to come all the way back here and say number series. So, so what's going on here? Did I use OD? Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to copy this action. So I'm going to replicate it. Shit. Replicate it twice and change this action to drama and create a drama action, change to friction. All right. So after the number series has been accomplished, um, okay, so we go on creating the actual workflow. So I love working with folders, so I recognize what exactly I'm working with. So in order for us to create this workflow, I'm going to be creating a simple working folder for this workflow. So I'd say, what's the name? Let's see, YouTube workflow. So within this YouTube workflow, I'm going to be creating 6 pages. So let's create them down first. So we'd have um, you- YouTube approval events. We need an event handler. We need event respond. YouTube approval event response. We also need approval management. We need to extend approval management. Approval management.al. What else do we need? We need let's see approval setup, I guess. So we have you to approval that's setup, yeah, setup. Yeah. So the last one, we need to create a publisher page. So say YouTube approval publish page .al. Right. So the very first page to work with is we are going to be working with the event handler. Right. So with the event handler, we need to create a code unit. So I press T code. So let's say I'm using 74743, and then I'm naming this particular page. I'm naming it YouTube workflow event and display. Okay, seems I can use this. Oh, okay. Can't I use that soon? My range is between okay to 6,000. Sorry, so to be able to use this. So let me just make it look good. YouTube workflow event handler. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to create a functions that return 128 code. And within this function, we need to declare the name of the cancel approver and the name of the run approver. So I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to say T Pro So the procedure name would be run workflow on send YouTube for approval. So you see this guy is going to return a code of 128. We just need a string return from this function. And what he does is that he only exits. So we're going to exit according to Business Central Standard. It has to be in all caps. Run workflow on send YouTube for approval code. But we can just use on approval. And then copy this, paste this. So we run workflow on cancel. So replace send with cancel. So this is the very first step, right? So what we have done is we just returned a string of character, right? So the next thing we need to do now is we need to now add this particular string or function to what did I do? How do we have begin here and end here? Okay, do this. Now I have done something wrong with the code. Okay, think think this is nice now. So what we need to do is we need to add this event that we have created. We need to add it to a library, right? So how do we do that? We say before we even proceed there, we need to create some few uh, global variable. So the very first one is we need to create a variable for workflow management. NGT, right? NGT, right? So a code unit of approval, right? Is approval management. I believe so. That's workflow management. Flow, yeah, yeah, workflow management. So after we define our workflow management, we also need to define our workflow event handler. So we'd say workflow event handling a code unit. So this code unit is going to be workflow event handling, right? So we also need now what message do we want to put to the screen when I click on request for approval? Let's say the approval setup or the approval workflow is not yet set up. So there should be a message that I get that's probably um, no approval for this type of record enabled, or we get a message maybe after I ask for approval and there's an actual approval workflow for me. It should tell me that an approval request has been sent or something like that. So we need to create a variable that holds that. So we'd say for the that will be YouTube YouTube um, send approval. So we label this, or we label this. See, what message should we say? YouTube approval method. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. So I'm going to change this to cancel. So YouTube approval cancelled. So we're also going to have an error if approval does not exist. YouTube approval exists error. So also a label. So we'd say no approval workflow for this document. Right. So this is pretty much simple. We just created a reference to the code units and then our variables that we're going to be using. Okay, so the next thing we do here now, like I said, we're going to be adding this event to the library. So I use a T event subscriber. So I want to subscribe to a code unit called workflow event handler. Right? So while I subscribe to this event, I also want to give it a particular event. Say on hard, say on workflow, hard workflow. Sorry, on hard workflow event. Am I using the right code? No, object type is not page. Object type is code unit. On add workflow to library, right? So I'll set this true. So I want to copy this name out, paste it here. So what do I want to do? So I want to call a workflow event handler that I defined down. And I want to access the add to library. So what do I want to add to library? I can over this add to library. Then I see the arguments. It needs the function name, the table ID, the rest like that. So the function name is, let's copy, let's say, let's do it for this first. I call this as the function name, and then the table ID, I access that by saying database column. I think we named it YouTube video category, right? So if we check this well, we see after we need a description. I already made some description here. We copy this description, paste it here. So that's the description. What else? We have a request page ID. For the request page ID, I'm going to be putting 0 and then Yeah, 0. And the last one is used for recording changes. I say no, false. Right? So I'm just going to copy this, paste it, and I'm going to be changing this. So I think we have to cancel. So first stage done. So I've been able to add this event to the library, right? So I think what needs to be done, what needs to be done. Okay. So I also need to um let's see. I'll need to come to the management here, right? So I need to add some management um, event subscriber or integration event. So T code, let's see, is that too much? I think so. So I want to name this YouTube approval management. So within here, I want to have a T integration. Should have integration events. Yeah, first, right? So this integration event, um I want to give access to outside environment so they are able to make use of this approval workflow. You understand when I finish the project. So I want to say on send request for approval if the request is coming from this table. So let's say YouTube, what's the name? So let's just say YouTube. So I say record, right? Any request that comes from this table on send request, I don't want to do anything. I just want people to be able to define what they want to see there. You understand? So I save this. I copy this to, I still paste it so I can create for um cancel requests. So that is all we need to do here. So I'm just going to go back to my normal approval page, right? So what do we do now? Hmm. So I'm going to undo this event that I have sent, that I have added to the library. So I'm going to say T event subscriber. So I want to subscribe to the U. Fuck. I want to subscribe to the YouTube. What do we name it? Approval management. Yes. And I want to say on send, right? On send request for approval. And anytime we send for approval, anytime we send for approval, What do I want to do? Anytime I send for approval, I want to begin hand, right? So I want to say workflow management. How do you save it? Yeah, workflow management dot handle events. So I want to say um, um, okay, when they run on send request, I want you to run this on send request code. I could say then run it alongside with this table record, right? So that is it. So I'm going to copy this again, paste this, wait for the on cancel, right? So for the on cancel, as you can tell already, I have to copy the wrong workflow on cancel right here. Now we are done with adding it to the event library, and we're also done by handling those events. So now we want to do a um, predecessor. Is it predecessor? We want to create a predecessor to the library. You don't need to understand what that means right now, but if you follow along with my step by step, you should be able to get it working for you. So, see event subscriber. I want to do subscribe to workflow event handling, right? So I want to say the add to library. Yes, on add predecessor to library. The first one we did here was on add workflow events to library. So once we add it, we need to also add the predecessor also to the library. So I can equally say false, false, right? Then I copy this, paste this here, save this. So this guy takes an argument, so event function. The event function is an existing inbuilt workflow event. So what we want to do is now we want to also now put in our own condition. You know, our own condition is customization. We don't have it in the system, so we want to include it while that process is checking. So we want to use the case statement here. So we'll now say case of this event function. If the event function name is, so we now say anytime they run, sorry, if they run the computer, sorry, computer, what am I doing? If they run, anytime they call on run workflow on cancel YouTube for approval code, I want the, what am I doing again? Workflow event handling. I think something is wrong somewhere. I think we should have a double end, have it? Right. So workflow dot add event predecessor. So we want to add this when it's been cancelled. We want to make sure it is running against the on send, right? Anytime this is called the run on cancel events, we want to make sure it is run against there should have been a a send request before we can cancel this, if that makes sense. Uh, so we run another case, then we now call on the system event that is in charge of handling the request. On run workflow, on approval request code, yeah. So if this happen, need to copy this workflow, right? So I would say, so in the next video, I'm going to quickly wrap this up right now because of it's already getting lengthy. So we'll continue from the next video. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share this video. Thank you for watching.